Alright boys, Louis Marco here back at you to do a little follow-up on the prejudging of the New York Pro. Now, this is the fourth call out, which is pretty much to establish the position between 2 and 7. 2 and 7. You bear to notice that Dexter Jackson is no longer here. You guys know why? Because he won. Obviously he won. He was in a league of his own. It was so obvious. So they brought Nathan Daisha from the second call out to the mix to try to establish the position from second to 7. So proceed should we. Now, believe me guys that Roelly Winklaar, Boobander, is as good as last week in Britain, where he placed first. But then again, at this level, New York Pro is elevated. You will see some rather flaws. You cannot deny that in this front double biceps, Victor Martinez looks more pleasing. The very balance of his physique is just outstanding, right? And again, this comer, this Steve Kuclo, he comes from nowhere. I did not see him coming whatsoever. This guy used to have a severe deficiency in a sense, whereas his limbs, namely the arms and the legs, looked always more conditioned, harder than the central part of his physique, namely his core was soft. Same goes with his chest and back and whatnot. But this year he seemed to fix that. So let's proceed. You get Max. Actually, he looks absolutely good from the front. He looks very good. But then again, let's proceed and see what is happening. Now, side pose. I call it side pose. It's not a side chest because you can see Juan Morel doing something else. Why is he doing that? Because his arms are not his best asset. Probably they told them your best side pose, and they choose this. To be noted, Dorian Yates used to do this one as well, because he was not known to have the biggest arms in that position. Nonetheless, look at the sweep of Mr. Steve Kuclo. Definitely loyal. It's up there. Definitely more solid than that of Victor Martinez. Victor Martinez, worst nightmare, unfortunately for him. He will always be compared with his best version, namely of 2007. Can he reproduce that? Can he replicate that? Unfortunately, no. He went to prison. He had severe injuries and so on. So it's kind of hard to replicate that. It is his best flaw. Nathan Daisha is underrated, and they will tell him add 10 pounds. They will tell him you're still too small, which is a bit true in this day and age. He looks a little bit undersized in this field. Back double biceps. Picture is small. Then again, Steve here looks solid. He looks good. Definitely better than Boobander. More solid than Victor Martinez. And Max, when he turns, it is a different story. As I mentioned before, from the front, he looks absolutely like a diamond. Very solid. The back is shallow. Stretching up there is definitely not loyal. Two-arm dominant. And good lord, the very detachment between the glutes and the hamstring is not up there. It's not the same level as Boobander, and certainly not that of this coming from nowhere, this guy Steve Kuclo. The New Yorker Juan Diesel Morel always brings it when it comes to the conditioning level. He's always conditioned. His glutes like huge, probably one of the biggest in the business. But then again, unfortunately, we have to remind this is high level, and his arms are just not up to par, genetically deficient there. It will always ding him, right? Side triceps, not that clear in a sense. Most muscular pose. There is no out-angling here. Steve Kuclo is just big. He is big. Definitely big. Even next to Boobander, he looks absolutely big. And this is a take-home pose, the most muscular in the crab way, like Juan does. Juan looks huge in this pose, but he's not being out-angled by this guy. But this Steve Kuclo, I'm guessing he's like 260 today. For real, he looks really good. Victor Martinez always pleasing. Nathan, they will tell him add 10 pounds. He should add 10 pounds. I am sorry. He is pleasing. He looks good. But that's the problem that Phil Heath had back in the day. And for the record, Phil Heath won the New York Pro 10 years ago. right? Exactly 10 years ago. It was his second pro win. 1 week prior to that, he won the Colorado Pro. Proceed, shall we? Now, this is the same pose they have done before, and I can see that the big Steve Kuclo changed places, and he's a little bit fading. Let's go back up, and you will see that there is a slight difference for an exercise eye. He looks a little bit softer here. Look, he looks good here. Look, left him more solid, tight, more veiny. How come he looks a little bit softer? It happens, guys. If you follow bodybuilding shows, these guys change literally by the minute. So 45 seconds, you will do the same pose, and you will see that the guys are either fading, you know, they lose a lot of water, they lose a lot of energy, and it really shows. It is that sensitive, side chest, there we go. Boubander looks amazing in this pose, and I see Victor Martinez coming in. He looks a little bit better here than Steve. I'm sorry, but this is what I see, right? I mean, those are individual pictures, but what I see here, I got Victor very good here, right? Back lat spread. I don't like the back of Steve Kuclo in this position. I just don't like it. The best one here is absolutely Victor Martinez. Nathan Daisha, he can grow more. He is like, I'm sorry, there's no comparison there, but just to bring a parallel, he is like Ronnie Coleman 1995. He was good, but he still had a lot of room to grow. The poses are not saturated. When it comes to Boubander, these lats are high, reminiscent of those of Dennis Wolf. You cannot fix them. You either have them low or not. This guy has one of the best backs ever, right? He would never be as good as 2007, but here it's just perfect. He's just good. You know, we're not in Mr. Olympia. We don't have the Phil Heaths of these worlds. We have Sean Rodden, so he is still up there. All right, front double bicep. Structurally, Victor Martinez like $1,000 million. Looks good, and he brings the very flaw again of Boubander. You cannot deny that Boubander, this pose looks a little bit awkward. It's just not there. Nathan Daisha, this frog-like front double biceps is not to be saluted. Again, he will grow. And the New Yorker Juan Diesel Morel. His arms were never his big asset. It will always show. Any way to fix it? No. This is a genetic treat in a sense, or trait. Put him next to Victor Martinez. It will show even more. What else do we have? By the way, I'm discovering these pictures with you guys. Indeed, yeah, Steve Kuclo, a bit fading. I mean, put him next to Juan Morel, who is always solid. It shows just that little bit. He's still good. He's still in the mix. I still have him second. He should do second. I got Victor third, Rory Winkler fourth, and the rest is a toss-up, right? So this is my prediction as far as I see it now. If all goes well, Steve Kuclo is the surprise of the day, right? But then again, he should hold the shape we saw upstairs here. I mean, this solid physique right here, because with this, he is ahead of Victor Martinez. We'll see how it goes. I'm surprised by him. I did not see him come in. A lot of people were saying he is overrated since he won in Brazil back then, but he just brought it. So again, Dexter Jackson is absolutely first. Dude does not age, I'm sorry. He's like a freaking vampire. Every year we tend to say, you know, he will fade. I mean, age will catch with him. I'm sorry, he's still up there, 46 years old or so, right? Second, if all goes well, I tend to sway a bit to Steve Kuclo. Third right here, Victor Martinez. Rolly probably fourth, and the rest is a toss-up. But in this lineup, the guy who has the worst combination of body parts has to be max. He is dinging himself because he looks solid from the front, and there is a big contrast with the back. That's what's up. Salute you wherever you are. Tell me what you guys think.